in years past, they'd say, oh, I saw that TV commercial.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, I remember an influencer work. Like, think about the hours of content people are scrolling on TikTok, and like to know that that kind of broke through, I think is a really compelling case for the investment.
Welcome back to Culture Creators, where we are talking with marketers, creators who are shaping culture. We are live in Cannes at the Female Quotient Equality Lounge, and I am sitting with Viator's brand director, and Viator, which most people don't know, TripAdvisor company, correct?
Yeah.
So very happy to have you. You have an incredible background. I have all of your roles and what you've done. But Carmela, I didn't even say your name, Carmela Lutzi. Lutzi or Lucci?
Lutzi.
Lutzi,
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
Are you Italian?
100%.
All right, I lived in Rome for years.
Oh, no way. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. So you came from entertainment world, Vice. I've got Viacom, MTV.
Yep.
How did you end up at a TripAdvisor company?
Yeah, that's a really fair question. I did start my career. I actually started my career in accounting, which is even weirder to say. Yeah. I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers for a year, realized I didn't love that part. So I moved into entertainment, and I worked at what is now Paramount Global when it was still just MTV Networks. So I did the majority of my career there, recognized how much I loved like marketing and marketing ROI and figuring that part out. So I went back to school and got my MBA in media management and marketing. Expanded my career, moved into integrated partnerships and did a lot of that with what was then Viacom. Yeah. So a lot of I did the VMAs, 30th anniversary integrated partnerships. We did like VH1 Divas, did a lot of tentpole stuff, which was incredible to get that type of experience working directly with production companies and brands and trying to figure out how to seamlessly integrate them into content in a way that doesn't feel inauthentic. I know we all hate that word, but it still resonates. Yeah. And then I went over to Vice and did a lot of the same things, but with some really interesting brands. Worked with Cadillac, and we put up a show called Hustle, which is really exciting. Had some work with Adidas. Lots of brands there. And then by the end, though, I became the VP of brand marketing for Vice Media Group. So I was overseeing all the B2C facing marketing for the brand. So Vice, Refinery 29, ID. And then I think I needed a change, right? And I kind of really wanted to go brand side. I wanted to go to a place that I think I could have really made an impact from a brand awareness perspective. And I had started putting out some feelers, met with some of my extended network, went through an extraordinarily rigorous interview process with TripAdvisor and Viator. And then, I got the job at Viator and was thrust into the goal for Viator is to make it a household name. Yeah. So how are you going to do that? And how quickly can you? It was a really great experience for me to build something from the ground up. Really, there was no infrastructure for a brand or a full funnel marketing team there, which was really exciting for me. So and then that's how we started.
Okay. So to become a household name, you need mass market. Yes. But we are living in a time where everyone lives in their microcosms because of their algorithms and their own corners of the internet. How do you reach a mass market? How do you even know what's culturally relevant today as a brand, given all of that? Yeah,
it's a really great question. I think we did it in some traditional ways, but really always infusing innovation within that. So we started by understanding who our audience is, right? You have to go out and use quantitative and qualitative analysis to figure out, all right, what's the total addressable market? And then based on the budget we have, to be realistic, based on our product services, who can we service the best to penetrate that particular audience? For travel, that's hard. Basically every adult wants to travel. So how do you differentiate yourself amongst an audience that is the most inclined to want your product? And also the travel experiences category is still pretty unknown as well. So we sort of had a dual challenge. But once we identified who our target market was and is, we were able to get really innovative and strategic with our creative messaging, of course, and then also our strategic buying. So we did have to do some mass market stuff, and we did things like buy the NFL and all that kind of stuff. But we also found it really important to have a super strong influencer strategy, talking to a mix of like what we call A-list or celeb, and then we had like VIP creators, but really where we're finding all of that was really great for engagement. But as we move like down funnel, what we found was working with like mid-tier or even micro influencers has a lot of impact on the brand's engagement and then consideration, and even further down funnel from that.
Yep.
So yeah.
And then so you're working with creators, you understand the value kind of full tier systems. I had a stat that 69% of consumers trust influencers, friends, and family over information coming directly from brand. What do you think is causing this distrust of brand, increase of trust of influencer? Then how are you responding in your mix to these trends?
Yeah, I mean, I think consumers have gotten really smart because they're talking to each other, right? So everybody has a specific experience with a brand, and what we have found is it is easier to talk about a negative experience than a positive one, right? Which is fair. The expectation is that you're always going to have a positive experience from a brand. So we do a lot of work when it comes to like social listening, as well as we have a whole group within our company called Voice of the Customer, where like product and marketing will get on a call and listen to customer service calls to figure out pain points within the journey of certain customers. And then we try to mitigate those pain points with product enhancements. But I also make sure that we reflect the fact that we are working through these pain points via creative messaging as well.
Okay.
So we do that obviously in a lot of different ways. And with creators, I think that's why they're such a big part of our plan, because customers do trust them, right? And we're finding a lot of benefit in working with creators, again, across all scales.
Yeah. Where do you sit on the trends conversation? A lot of brands with creator partnerships or just with their social are kind of going after every trend. And for some, it actually works quite well. Mm-hmm. For others, it becomes more of a distraction to the main strategy. But in this world of hopping on trends, where do you sit?
Yeah. So this is an interesting topic. We talk about it a lot within the company. We're like, do we need to come up with a dance for TikTok? And the truth of the matter is no. I think sometimes if like not engaging is also a strategy, right? Especially in some of like the negative rhetoric or some of like just the swell around stuff. Like if it doesn't feel connected to our brand in any way, or even really like the way we talk online, it's not worth us like jumping into that conversation. And then there are times where we do, right? Like we do jump in on, well, it's June, so we do jump in on pride type conversations. During Black History Month, we have a lot of really great tours that celebrate Black culture. And so we do a lot of programming around that. So when it does feel authentically connected to our product, that is when we do like raise our hands and raise our voices. But when it doesn't, we don't feed into it. Yeah.
I like the not participating as a strategy.
Is it? Yeah, for sure.
What about the idea that creators and creator content used to be a social paradigm, and now it's hard to turn on the TV and not see a commercial that leaves a phone up with TikTok icons to make you know it's social content, and we're seeing billboard ads and display it in all of these places. Are you thinking about how creator content extends beyond the walls of social media?
Yeah, we are, even in the audio space, right? Podcasts is like huge for us because these influencers have huge audio audiences that they trust as well. And we've actually seen some research where podcasts are probably among the top when it comes to consideration changes. So I love that they kind of go beyond all the walls. It also does mean like in contract negotiations and stuff like that, you have to have like usage rights that go beyond digital. Because a lot of times now, like to your point, you can use an influencer ad on CTV.
Yeah.
So they really are breaking down all the walls from like just the social platforms to sort of go beyond, which is great for a marketer like me because production costs money, influencers cost, but so if I can use them further in my plan, that's great. Yeah. And we do a lot of that as well. So whatever is working well in organic, we feed to our paid pipeline as well. Yeah. So it makes it go further.
So then, and it sounds like you're already feeding the paid engine, which is a huge part of strategies. Mm-hmm. You talk to a lot of marketers and their perception is that we probably should be spending a lot more on influencer than we do because it's so effective. but they might not be. It's still a small percentage
Yeah.
of budget in totality. Why do you think that is?
To be totally frank,
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's because it's really hard to show the return on that ad spend immediately.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The pressure marketers are getting is intense from your CFOs and even the CEOs to make sure that what you spend is bringing a return. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is working with influencers, and honestly, even beyond that, as long as you're going above search, right? It takes a minute for that dollar to convert. And I think that is one thing I've worked really hard at pitching constantly internally. Like, not every dollar in marketing is supposed to convert on day one. There is value in longevity. There is value in investing in these. And now we are starting to see some stats come through as well. And with certain influencers, we work with promo codes. So obviously then we can track. But we also do quarterly brand health studies with Ipsos. And in their most recent one, they noted that our top of mind awareness is growing, and they cited specifically that folks have seen our work with influencers on TikTok.
Wow. Okay.
So it's really amazing to see, because in years past they'd say, oh, I saw that TV commercial. Yeah. And now they're saying, I remember an influencer work. Like, think about the hours of content people are scrolling on TikTok, and like, to know that kind of broke through, I think is a really compelling case for the investment.
Yeah, this is why also it takes leadership of companies who believe in building a flywheel, the whole process to actually drum up consideration and intent, and all of the things takes time, and creators are one of the leading strategies. They're not always a last click conversion, the immediate attribution channel. And so just like you said, not participating in a trend is a tactic or a strategy. Sometimes if you're not ready for what influencer needs to be as a brand, you shouldn't do it too.
Right.
You have to actually know what you're building, be ready to build for it.
Yeah, we have been crazy about our strategy when it comes to influencer, and sort of, as I was mentioning to you before, I think we started, we had to learn some hard lessons along the way as well, right? Like, as brand marketers, we're really incentivized to push our brand messaging constantly. That doesn't work with a creator audience who has like their own way of talking and communicating to an audience and to followers that like care about how they're coming across. So I will say we are pretty aggressive in our budget with influencers, and it's paying off. Yeah,
that's great.
It's building.
That's great. All right, rapid fire. You ready for rapid fire?
I'm ready for rapid fire.
Question 1. What does your For You feed look like? If I take your phone right now, what kind of content am I going to see on there?
Oh, okay, fair enough. I would say travel tips for sure, because I do a lot of traveling. Outfit ideas, outfit inspo, and then like fitness hacks to kind of do when you're traveling. Because I travel so much, I'm like, how can I do a workout in my hotel room? So it's probably a lot of that. And also like recipes that I save, but will probably never cook.
One of these might be the answer then, but if you were a creator, what would your content angle be?
Okay, yeah. The professional in me thinks I should probably be like a travel creator. But the realist in me wants to just like review martinis.
Ooh, that's a nice niche channel.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, okay. That could take off. I like that. Finally, what advice would you give someone starting their career in marketing right now?
Right now, be curious and really be open to the change that's coming. I mean, AI is obviously a big one, but this is one of my favorite quotes about everything in life and in business. The only constant is change. So if you're uncomfortable in change, this might not be the business for you. But I would say embrace it, because those who succeed are the ones who are embracing change and moving with it. Yeah,
I love that. As much pressure as younger people have on learning AI systems and all these deep things, just curiosity is one of the most important.
Exactly. It's the foundation of it all, really. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
This is really fun. Thank you. I appreciate it.